Last year, I grew my Instagram account from 0 to 50,000 followers in 2 months, where I had one video get me 25,000 followers. So today, I'm going to explain to you exactly how I did that and exactly how I plan to do that again in 2026. In this video, I'm going to break down to you how organic social media is 2026 biggest asset. No ads, no bought followers, no shortcuts, no viral lock, and spending only about an hour a day on content. But the best thing is, in 2026, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it faster, and I'm going to document the whole journey for you. So in this video, let me explain to you exactly how I'm going to do it. Now, I haven't cracked the algorithm, but what I did do is I finally stopped listening to all the generic social media advice out there, and I started to create authentic storytelling. So in this video, I'm going to explain to you how in 2026, I'm growing my brand from 50 to 100,000 followers in the next 2 months. This is going to be a walkthrough on exactly how I'm doing this and a step-by-step guide so you can clearly see me document the journey so you can imitate it yourself and build a brand that not only is a business that generates you income, but builds a loyal, authentic audience. This is going to allow you to post without burning out, stop you from posting for the sake of posting, and start enjoying the process, where you're going to start to influence and gain attraction across the world. Now, I want to be clear. This is only going to work if you listen to the end, because in the 3-step breakdown at the end, I'm going to explain to you how I got that one reel to get me 25,000 followers, but that's not until the end. So pay attention, listen closely, take some notes. Let's get into it. If you don't know me yet, my name's Jake, and I'm a creative strategist, young 21-year-old entrepreneur. I run 2 multiple 6-figure businesses, and I'm now doing social media while studying full-time. It's a great life, don't get me wrong. I travel full-time, but I didn't start with clarity. I didn't start with a system. I didn't start with strategy. I started just posting for the sake of posting. And that's why it took me 6 months to hit 4,000 followers, but from 4,000 to 50,000 followers in 2 months. And that's because I had clear strategy. Now, I've currently been working with a lot of high-level entrepreneurs, a lot of founders, and a lot of creators who are wanting to grow their own personal brands. And the biggest thing that I'm currently seeing, where they're starting from 0 to 50K followers, but also from $0 to building their first $10,000 a month, the pattern is always the same. The people who win long-term aren't trying to post as many videos as they possibly can. They're not working harder, they're working smarter. They're working for the long term. They're thinking about the messaging that they're trying to get across, who their ICP is and who their USP is. Which brings me to my first point, getting very clear on who your ICP, your ideal customer profile, and your USP, your unique selling proposition. This is one who identify who you're going to be targeting. Your ICP is your ideal client. Now, you need to think of it from a logistical standpoint. If you're creating content and if you're targeting an audience who you're eventually wanting to monetize, build an audience that likes you for you, but also values you for your knowledge and information, you need to have a clear understanding of who they are. Who is that ideal client? Is he 6'4", blonde haired, blue eyes, white? You need to think about the way that that person's feeling on the days of the week, the emotions that they're feeling. Let me give you some clear strategy here. I'm 21, like I mentioned to you before. I have multiple businesses, I'm studying, I'm working online. I'm living an aspirational life. And now, as cliche as it sounds, I understand that that's who my ICP is, my ideal client. It was me 1 year ago, trying to make this online dream come alive, trying to make social media come to tuition. However, I realized that this person and myself was going into the week on Monday feeling no purpose, feeling pain, feeling sorry for myself because I didn't have any drive. I didn't know what I was working towards, and I didn't know what I was achieving. And so the way that you go about your ICP and the way that you go about your content is you need to start thinking about the emotion this person is feeling in the time and the days of the week. So if I was to create content for my ICP, I would look at their emotion that they're feeling on Monday. They've gone out on the weekend. They've had a big blowout. They've got on the bags. They're not feeling that happy. However, they're going into a job or a degree or a life that they don't feel purpose in. They don't feel like they're on alignment with where they want to go in life. So I'm creating a reel that's targeting that pain and purpose. Now, this is where the unique selling proposition comes in. You need to ensure you're sticking to formats that are consistent, formats that replicate your personality and show you as an individual. This is important because if you're creating identifying content, then it stands out in a saturated crowd. Anyone can be a fitness coach. However, what makes the best fitness coaches? Either them are the most jacked, they have the most identifiable physique, or they put a twist on it. They have more value to provide. They have a unique editing style. They have unique branding and coloring. They live a lifestyle that's aspirational to others. So you need to understand what makes you unique, what makes you stand out in a saturated crowd first. So then when you start targeting the emotions of that person during the week, you have a clear understanding about how you can then remind them who you are, what you're about, so that when they go to watch on the For You page and they see your reel, it's instantly identifiable. And this creates traction, this creates adjustment, and this creates trust. And people start following you fast and heavy. And it comes in fast, trust me. Now, as I mentioned before, when you're targeting your ICP, you're having days of the week that you're posting content. But this isn't the only crucial part. There's different types of content formats. Now let me break it down to you simply. It goes into funnels: top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom funnel content. As I mentioned before, top of funnel is a viral reel. This is what brings views to the page. You need to think of this as attention, eyeballs on your page that brings you into people's pages, brings your Instagram account into people's eyes. Now, this isn't gonna convert. This is gonna be shallow, very templated type of content. No meaning, no relatability, no authentic connection, but it does serve a high purpose because it has great reach. Now, reach is crucial and you need to think about it as sales. Like I mentioned, are you an influencer or are you treating this like a business? When you think of sales, you think of how can I get as many leads in the door? How can I get as many people into my ecosystem as possible? And that's the same with content. How can I get as many eyeballs on my page? And you do this through top of funnel reels. Now, the formats you can do this through are durations of 6 to 30 second quick edit reels, high intention. You need to remember that in 2026, everyone's doom scrolling. They're stuck in a trance. You need to remember to break the scroll. You need to have pattern interrupts. You need to have information. You need to have virality content that's engaging and hits a bit of a dopamine hit. Now, what happens here is it brings people to the page, but it doesn't convert. It just brings views, but to get from the views to the followers, let me explain. Now, as I mentioned on Mondays, I'm targeting a character who feels pain and purpose. He has no clarity, he has no understanding, he's not sure what he wants to do with his life. So I'm creating a top of funnel viral reel targeting that pain and purpose. Whether that's me building a business with my friend, me traveling the world, or me highlighting the life that I live, it's gonna provide a bit of aspiration, and that's gonna bring views to my page. But what's gonna convert that viewer to a follower is the middle funnel piece of content. Now, middle funnel piece of content is humanality. It's authenticity, it's relatability. This is where you're touching on a lesson from that pain and purpose that I mentioned in the top of funnel reel. Now, the whole reason why you do this, again, think of it from a business standpoint. As you bring leads into the funnel, you need to qualify. You need to show them who you are, what you're about, and what you're trying to achieve. And you do this by either sending them in the DMs, sending them a Calendly, or getting them to pre-fill out a form. It's the same concept with Instagram if you think about it realistically. You're gonna be talking on your values. This is gonna be qualifying them to see if they connect on your values. You're gonna show your human personality, your aspects and your relatability, and it's gonna convert. If they are attracted and if they clearly align with your values, they're going to follow. And this is crucial. The formats you do this in are in talking heads, voiceover, B-roll, or any type of category like this. Anything that you can humanly connect on, and I highly recommend using a voiceover for this format. However, it's important to note this won't always convert ICP content if it's not directly targeting that ideal customer profile. The reason for this is because you don't want to attract a large audience through that viral reels and then convert them on nothing that aligns to you. This won't lead to any sales. And again, remember, are we creating a business or are we creating an influencer page? And it's important that you're creating ICP content, and which brings me back to my first point in ICP, is that if you're not talking directly to your ideal client, talking on the pain that they're feeling, understanding what they are about and what they're trying to achieve, you're never going to convert. Because why would a follower that follows you for a viral video that they're gonna hit a hot dopamine buy your fitness program, buy whatever you have to sell, if they don't tie into your values, if you're not speaking and being passionate about what you're about? And that's why it's so important to be authentic online, because if you are creating content for yourself, then you're gonna attract like-minded individuals. You're gonna attract people that you set out to help anyways. And so that brings me to my third funnel, bottom funnel content. This is where you are converting followers to clients. Now, it's important to understand that there's different categories for all of these and there's different potentials for all of these. Views is come through top of funnel. You probably won't see as much attraction to a middle funnel piece of content, but let me tell you for free, if this does blow up, if you master middle funnel pieces of content, it will do numbers. As you can see here, I had one middle funnel piece of reel get me 25,000 followers with only 500,000 views. And this is why I talk on providing humanality, providing relatability, and clearly identifying your message, because the conversion is absurd. And this is how I, in 2026, are gonna grow another 50,000 followers in the next 2 months. And you're gonna watch me do it. Bottom funnel pieces of content is where you provide your value. This is where you talk on what you're trying to achieve, what you're building, and what you offer. This is client testimonials. This is proof of purpose. This is results. This is understanding why someone should purchase from you. In these segments, you can objection handle based off your sales calls. You can understand your DMs and you can listen to them closely and create videos based on that. And this is what you need to do carefully. This is how you create a long-lasting, authentic, personal brand. You need to treasure bottom funnel content. It cannot be abused. If you're continuously outputting client testimonials, proof of purpose, and results, no one is going to be attracted to your page. You need to strategically layer this in between reels, highlights, and stories. And this is what converts. I generate 60% of my profits through my stories, and that is where I predominantly show my highlights. Now, in this proof of purpose, again, if you do manage to have a successful bottom funnel reel through the strategy I'm about to lay out to you, it will do wonders for your business. As you can see here, I've had one reel do 5 million views, but the conversion is only 2,000 followers because the intent wasn't to convert, it was to bring in attention. But as you can see from the post that I did before through my content strategy, it had 212,000 views for a value carousel, a strategic layering positioned carousel that I generated and understood how important it is to do. And what happened was in my funnel, as that viral video brought attention to my page, people started to tap on that carousel and it started to convert. It started to bring attention in, not just through ICP leads, but through dollars. And as you can see here, through the 212,000 views I got, it converted 633 ICP leads. From there, I had my DM set a reach out to all of these. And let me tell you, it was my best month so far. So, now that I've broken down the layers of strategic formatting, you're gonna have a clear understanding about the strategy you're gonna be implementing into your content and how you're gonna be creating views to followers, followers to clients. But it doesn't end there. Finally, I wanna touch on the content system. In part one, I spoke on content strategy. Now I'm gonna explain content system and why you're not able to capture the attention and what you're missing out on, and the importance of the 3-second rule. And this is one rule that I put 90% of my effort into when I'm editing my videos. Most creators are burning out currently because they're providing a new content system, a new idea, a new hook, a new outlook, a new proposition, a new understanding. But that's not the case. All your winning ideas are already on platform, but people are still trying to be authentic. The reason why I say this is because it's so important to understand that in content creation, ideas are out there. You're seeing viral videos that aren't going viral because of the creator. They're going viral because they're positioned on the algorithm a certain way. Maybe it's a text positioning. Maybe it's a color scheme. Maybe it's the trending audio. But the reason why you're seeing this isn't because the creator is successful. Yes, of course. If Christopher Bumstead posted a video, I'm a huge fan. I'm gonna follow it. But for your average creator that has 5,000 views, and if he's posting a reel that has 5x his follower count, so let's say he has 5,000 followers, he posts a reel and does 25K views. That is an outlier, and that is how I identify winning formats. And you need to understand that this 5,000 follower creator isn't an influencer. He's not viral, he's not famous. It's just doing well because it's performing well on the algorithm. And so what I do is when I'm continuously looking for ideas, I'm not looking for new ideas. I'm looking for old ideas, old content strategies, old hooks, old performing videos. And this is how you master content creation. You need to understand that if you are looking at an old video of someone, you need to break it down. You need to break down how is that video doing well and why. What in the first 3 seconds is that person asking? What is he saying? What is he showing? What is he demonstrating? And this is why it's so crucial that you understand the outlier method, where it's 5 times the follower count, because you can clearly, quickly, and finitely identify who is posting the best content and why. And the reason why I say this is how you master content efficiently and effectively. You need to start looking for outlier ideas. I'm gonna give you an example. As you can see, this one reel did 5x the follower amount to the creator's amount, but it was nothing special. The only thing special about it was his tonality. It was the color scheme and his visuals that he played. However, the music, the messaging, nothing is original. It is all copied, and I'm gonna show you how. This is the original video. This is the video that I imitated. This video I copied, but I changed it to my situation, and that's the twist. You can't replicate someone's idea from scratch. You need to add your own personality in, and I did this through the music, through the text on screen, and through the pacing. But as you can see, this reel was 5x'd the amount of the followers, so I replicated it. And as you can see, from this one reel, it got me 25,000 followers. And all I did is I took the idea from this creator that I saw and I picked out and I made it my own. I added an authentic twist, I added personality, and I created to be mine. And as you can see from 500,000 views, it got me 25,000 followers. A video that I stole, an idea that I stole. I'm not looking for new ideas. I'm not looking for new content. I'm looking for winning formats that are outliers on people's pages, and I'm clearly breaking down the strategy as to why that performed well. In my next YouTube video dropping next week, I will be discussing how to break down this strategy from start to finish, where I'll be creating a reel from scratch. However, I want you to know for today's video that if you are trying to grow in 2026, the ideas are already there. You just need to learn how to master them. Now, I want to leave you with a final challenge for this video. I want you to commit to a 30-day creator sprint with me. Call it #JP_Sprint. Jake Peters Sprint. And this way I can identify who is performing the reels and why. I will then go in and I will break down your reel for you if you tag me from here. And let's create a bit of community. But first, what includes in the final challenge creator sprint? Well, I want you to be focusing 1 hour a day to content. Filming, editing, and scripting. That's all it takes. Once you have that clear brand strategy that I mentioned to you at the start, top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom funnel, it's quite easy to brand content. But the crucial part is coming to the ideas. Now, when you're scrolling on internet, I want you to take 30 minutes to intentionally scroll. Pick winning formats, look at different formats, and look at the ideas. Take winning formats that are 5x the follower amount in views. Save that to your folder, and that's your idea. I don't want you to copy it. I want you to take inspiration. I want you to learn, and I want you to strategize from it. Now, from this, I want you to post 1 strategy video a day. Top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom funnel. Unfortunately, because you are not in my cohort of community, I won't be able to explain to you the exact days you need to post. However, know this, each day requires a certain emotion, and you need to figure out which one's the best. You might feel awkward, you might feel behind, you might feel lost, but if you show up for those 30 days, I can guarantee that your life will change. If you have been contemplating content for more than 2 years now, wondering if you're ever gonna start, watching people live the life that you wanna live, and you don't show up to 30 minutes a day for yourself, I'm sorry, but I need you to end this video now, because you will never get to where you wanna go. You will never succeed. You will never see the potential of what you're trying to achieve. And so it's so crucial that if you show up for the next 30 days and you implement exactly what I have mentioned to you in this video, you will get to the end result. You will see the life that you wanna live, and you will build a business over being an influencer. After this 30 days, you won't just have direction, you won't just have momentum, but you will have authentically built a personal brand. A brand that you can then start to scale long term, look past the vision, and continuously learn to improve. You could generate anything from 0 to 100,000 followers in the next 30 days if you follow this structure. And I will be joining in on this challenge starting February the 10th. I will be joining in on this challenge, and I will be demonstrating to you exactly how I'm growing another 50,000 followers in the next 2 months. And if you don't believe me, I want you to send me a private DM, and I will personally send you my free brand strategy that I'm going to be using for my content this next 30 days. If you want to also have assistance in building your own personal brand, DM me brand below, and I will personally reach out to you to see if you are even a good fit for my program, or to see if I can even help you achieve the goals that you're wanting to achieve. I just want you to know that there's nothing different between you and I. The only difference between you and I is that I'm going to take the next 30 days seriously. I'm going to have strategy behind every post, and I'm going to stop posting for the sake of posting. So if you want an identical, clear brand, a brand with authentic messaging, clear positioning, and loyal trust, then give me a follow and send me a message, because I can give you the direction that you need.